Do not hire sales representative, sales expert from big corporation. If you are SME founder, if you are SME leader, and you are frustrated that your new sales representative that you hire from the big corporation, that you're paying him a lot of money, he doesn't bring the result, you are not alone. Or if you have this idea as a SME founder, as CEO, that you will hire this big shot salesperson from the big corporation and he will bring you the same result as he is bringing in that corporation, meaning millions of dollars, you probably are wrong. And this episode I will explain you why. My name is Adam Skoneczny and you are watching Go Global Asia podcast. I've been living in Asia 9 years, and for last 7 years I've been helping Asian IT companies to expand to the global market. In this podcast, I am talking everything related to the global expansion and collaboration with Western clients. So guys, let me start with this notion that many CEO, many founders, many leaders from SMEs, they have in their head. They believe that if they hire the big shot salesperson from the corporation who is working for this well known big corporation and they're doing millions of revenue, then he can take the same skills, the same process, bring it to your company, and also make you such a big revenue and bring you such a big deals, which there is nothing further from the truth. So many of my clients, they fall into this trap and they lost a lot of money. Why? Because you need to pay huge benefits to those guys, first of all. Second, they will require you to invest a lot of money, and I will explain you why in a minute. And last but not least, you will waste a lot of time. Obviously, I am sharing my experience. Not all salespeople from the corporate are bad. That's not what I want to say. But stay with me and listen what I want to say to have better understanding and be able to make better decision. So, as a first part, let me compare environment between the corporation and SME. Those two organizations working in completely different environment. What I mean, let me explain. Let me first focus on the corporation. When we're talking about corporation already has a structured process. What's that mean? Salesperson come into the organization and they know exactly what they do step by step. This is where the lead coming from. This is what is the first meeting like. This is what we do next. This is what we do next. Step by step, everything is very clear. They have a usually check sheet. They have everything, as we say in Poland, give on the gold plate, meaning the corporation, they did that multiple times. They check what is working. They create the SOP, standard operating procedures, and they request their sales operators to follow this. And now you already can have a clue that the characteristic of the salesperson joining to corporation, it's very specific. What I mean, this person must be able to follow the guidance, follow the rules, and stay compliant with existing process. This is really important. Second, whenever they have a process, that means they have a formula which is tested. And it's not only regarding the process, how they go through it, but they usually have also sales scripts. They know exactly what to say, when, and how. There is the training for them, and there is multiple meetings where they role playing with their leaders to make sure that everybody follow the same path. So that's another important point. Next, lead generation usually happen from the marketing level. Salespeople in the corporate, they're seldom responsible for lead generation. Usually lead generation coming from the marketing department, from the existing client, from the customer success manager and other places. Very, very seldom salespeople are responsible for lead generation, and this is really important for you. If you're SME founder and you plan to hire this kind of person, there might be problem with lead generation, and keep it in mind. Next, they have a lot of resources. What do I mean? They basically have a lot of money. They have a lot of support from other team members, from other departments, from marketing, from legal, from pre-sales, from technical consultant, and all of that. So this is also extremely important. Next, one of the most important, they have branding and reputation. Those big corporations, they have branding in place. What's that mean? The sales person doesn't need to position himself as an expert and doesn't need to waste, or sorry, not waste, invest the time for building trust in front of the client because the trust is already there. Let me move now to SME environment. How does it work in SMEs? In SME, the salespeople are responsible for full sales process, starting from lead generation to very, very end, going through the discovery call, going through the proposal, going through the legal. Even the salespeople in SMEs, they're usually responsible for legal matter negotiation and closing the contract. This is really important because, as we say, this kind of salesperson must be jack of all trades, must be able to do everything and be able to juggle in all of those responsibility and fit it into his day. Next, in the SME environment, salesperson must be able or must have this kind of mindset of testing, checking, testing, failing, checking, testing, checking, failing, testing, testing, so on and so forth. Because in SMEs, you don't have a process yet, you don't have a formula, you don't have everything standardized, there is no SOP. So you need to test, you need to figure out, and you need to learn on your mistake to adapt and improve. Very important. Next, in SMEs, our resources are limited. We don't have so much money to go business trip. We don't have a super huge budget for marketing campaigns. We don't have a marketing department. All of those things do not exist. We must operate on very limited budget. And this is completely different environment. This is completely different approach than in the big corporate. Next, branding and reputation. We do not have it yet. This is too early for us. We are not Microsoft. We are not Tesla. We don't have yet this branding. Why this is important? Because the salesperson must build the trust and he must figure out the way to do it differently. If there is no branding, then what he should do to make sure that the client trusts his service, his company, and himself. So there is specific different type of the behavior that this salesperson need to conduct to make sure that he can build the trust. So guys, now if we understand how these two environments are different from each other, I think you already getting the idea why I said that the corporate salesperson might not be the best choice for you in your SME business. So now let me give you the most common challenges that will happen to you if you decide to try hire this big shot salesperson from corporate. Number one, if you don't have a marketing department in your SME, and if you do not get in leads from that department, then your salesperson from corporation who is starting working at your SME might have a huge problem to generate lead. He actually will not know how to generate the lead. And the worst, if you hire the salesperson who worked in corporation for 6 years, 7 years, and that was his first job. Guys, if you hire in this person, you get into your SME, you will have a huge problems. So make sure you are hiring right person. If you decide go for this corporate sales person, make sure before he had some experience with startups, maybe some SMEs experience. That would be very, very valuable experience for that person. that will allow him to generate lead. Obviously, when you don't have a marketing department, you expecting that salesperson go through the whole sales process. The lead generation is the most important. So don't make this mistake. Make sure that your sales executive can generate the lead. Second, if you hire big shot salesperson from corporation, he might have a problem to build the trust in front of the client. And let me explain you what can happen. Basically, those people who work for a big corporation, let's say Microsoft, Google, or any other big corporation, even not that big, maybe your local big corporation, maybe FPT, for instance, we have in Vietnam. Maybe Vingroup, we have in Vietnam. Any other corporation that is locally known, that have processes that is kind of bigger already, has everything established. If you hire this person, if whenever they join to the meeting, they might have a problem building trust and they might be bit arrogant. You know, when you're working in corporation and you need to convince the client to get your product or service, you just push them because you already have a brand behind you. You already have a huge credibility behind you. You just need to give a small push to the client, small or sometimes bigger, to make him buy your product. And if that happens in SME, the customer will perceive you as arrogant. So be careful with that. How you can verify? If you again deciding to hire somebody from corporation, you can do just role playing with that person and see how he is trying to close the deal. Guys, I will say again, I don't say that the corporate salespeople are terrible and they're bad and they're always cannot help you in your SME business. This is not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that you need to make sure that when you decide to take this corporate sales executive to your organization, you need to make sure this is the right person for SME or startup. Next, the person who is coming from corporation and work there for longer period of time might have a big problem to adapt to environment of SME. What I mean, as I mentioned you before, the environment is very structured. People know what they do. In the morning they do this, then do this, then do this, then do that. There is the process for everything. The meeting look like this, you say that. There is the script for everything. There is SOPs, standard operating procedures. But in SMEs and startups, the life it's more messy, chaotic. There is no structure. In morning, sometimes you need to do this, or sometimes you need to do that. Sometimes you need to collaborate with this department, sometimes to talk with that department. Everything is changing. Everything is fluctuating. Everything is like, I forgot the word, but I guess you know what I mean. Everything is kind of, elastic. Sometimes it's my work like this, sometimes it's my work like that. So your salesperson need to be able to adapt with this kind of work style, lifestyle, whatever you call it. And last element that you might have big challenges when onboarding or whenever you're getting this sales executive from the corporation, it's his collaboration with delivery department, because in the corporation usually they do not engage much with working with delivery. Instead, there is the pre-sale team that will handle this, and pre-sale team also will face the client. So the sales team, they will not be aware, actually, they will not have the knowledge how to collaborate with the delivery team, how to collect the data from the client, how to pass it to the delivery and continue providing good service, basically. So, guys, I share with you all challenges. I share with you environment. So now let me share with you what can you do? What can you do instead? So first of all, what is the most important in my opinion and what will give you benefit now and in the long term, it's actually you can focus on establishing process in your organization. I know this is maybe something that you didn't expect me to hear, But guys, if you establish the process, either it's onboarding process, either it's sales process, either it's lead generation process, either it's meeting process, either it's marketing process, onboarding of any type of the salesperson, either it will be corporate executive, it will be SME sales executive, sales representative, either it will be junior, sales junior or intern. If you have a process onboarding of those people, it will be much, much easier. And your result in your business, your outcome of activities of those people will be much more predictable. Additionally, when you have a process, when you measure it, you can see very easily which person is performing and which not. So this is another good reason why you should have a process. Second, what you can do, you can hire people from startup. If you don't have a process yet, if you are still in the place where you're just testing, when you're trying, when you don't have your channel yet, when you don't have your approach, highly recommended to work with people from the startups. They have this mindset of testing, trying, and doing 1,000 things at the same time, trying 1,000 things at the same time, testing, and analyze the data. Next, what you can do is hire junior people and mentor them. So basically, it's growing people from very beginning to the place where you want them to be, to the place where they can take huge responsibility, maybe to the place even where they can run the organization together with you. Salespeople, they're really important for organization. They are fuel for every organization. So if we get one good one, let's do everything to keep them. And the last thing, what you should do, in my opinion, as a CEO, as a leader of organization, you should have basic understanding about the sales, about the winning the deals, about the marketing, about lead generation. Why? The reason it's here really, really important, I would say. Salespeople are trained to be able to say something to other people what they want to hear. So basically, whenever salesperson sit down in front of their client or any other person, they train to read them and tell them exactly what they want to hear. So if you're a CEO, if you are a founder, if you are owner, if you are a person responsible for hiring, you need to be aware of that this person is probably doing what is trained for. And this is nothing wrong. This is good. But you need to be able to figure out what things are his real skills, what things are his real characteristics, and what things he just say or she say to make you feel comfortable. That's why you need to have a basic understanding of the sales process, basic sales skills, basic understanding of marketing. Thanks to this, it will be much easier for you to onboard, recruit, and build amazing sales team. Guys, this video is one of the shorter video, but it's like squeezed all information in like 20 minutes. So if you want to get much deeper into the subject, I have another video. It will be linked in the description about 15 characteristics of the top salespeople. Please watch that. And if you are CEO of the SME organization, if you are founder, if you are person responsible for your company, which is all of you, every person working in company is responsible for that company, you should go and see that video. Over there, I will explain you 15 characteristics that you should pay attention to that will tell you about the salespeople, if they're good or if they're maybe not suitable to your organization. Additionally, if you are a salesperson and you want to improve your skills, go check out this video as well and see if there are all those 15 skills you have already, or maybe there is something you need to work on. Thank you so much, guys. This is Go Global Asia podcast, and I see you in next episode. Take care.